The afternoon sun blazed against the silver walls of the Weldon Auto Factory, cold metal glowing under merciless light. A small doll lay on the ground, its arm torn off, one button eye staring blankly at the sky. Next to it, a woman knelt in the dust, her lips split, her hand trembling as she tried to wipe the blood away. Her little girl, no older than 6, clutched the broken toy to her chest, whispering through tears, "They broke my toy, and they hurt my mommy." The street was silent now, except for the faint echo of laughter fading away. If you still believe in kindness and standing up for the weak, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Reality. Because this is a story you won't forget. Her name was Clara Whitmore, 28, a single mother who had already lost too much. Her husband, a factory worker himself, had died in an accident 2 winters ago. Since then, she carried the weight of 2 lives, hers and her daughter's, and that little girl. Hazel, 6 years old, freckles dusted across her nose, always carrying that same doll everywhere she went, a gift from her late father. Every morning, Clara tied Hazel's yellow ribbons and whispered, "Someday things will be better." And Hazel would smile, believing her completely. Because to a child, a mother's promise is stronger than truth. Clara's days were long and cruel. At the Weldon factory, she worked 12-hour shifts assembling car parts, her hands calloused, her back aching. She never complained. She couldn't afford to. Every paycheck went straight to rent and food. There were nights when dinner was just bread and tea, and Hazel would quietly push her own plate toward her mother. But even in those quiet, hungry nights, Clara kept her dignity, her smile faint, her eyes tired, but still shining with something unbreakable. That day, she found the courage to speak. A coworker had whispered that Clara was being underpaid, cheated by the factory manager for months. When the shift ended, Clara walked into his office, her voice shaking but firm. "You've been taking from me. I just want what's fair." He laughed. So did the men beside him. When she didn't back down, one of them pushed her. Her shoulder hit the metal wall with a sharp clang. Outside the doorway, Hazel screamed, "Stop hurting my mommy." The manager turned, snatched the doll from Hazel's hands, and ripped off its arm before tossing it into the dirt. "There, now you both know your place." Their laughter filled the air as they walked away, leaving a bruised mother and a crying child behind. Clara dropped to her knees, holding Hazel. Her hands shook, her heart shattered. Hazel pressed the broken doll against her chest, sobbing so quietly it almost hurt more than the shouting. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's fine," Clara whispered. But even she didn't believe it. The wind picked up, carrying dust and the faint hum of machinery behind the closed factory gates. The world didn't stop. It just moved on. Then, in the distance, came a sound. Low at first, then louder. Engines. A rumble like thunder rolling toward Justice. .5 motorcycles turned the corner, chrome glinting in the sunlight, black leather jackets marked with red-winged skulls. They were Hell's Angels, men the world feared, but who had their own code. The leader was older, rugged, with a gray beard and eyes that looked like they'd seen both war and peace. His vest read RL. The bikers slowed, engines growling. RL dismounted first and walked toward Clara and Hazel. He saw the bruises, the broken doll, the feared. He knelt beside Hazel, his voice deep but gentle. "Who did this to your mom, little one?" Hazel lifted her small hand and pointed toward the factory. R.L. stood. His brothers didn't need to be told anything. One nod. That was enough. They turned toward the factory, leather creaking, engines roaring back to life. The sound exploded through the street like thunder chasing lightning. Clara called out, "Please, don't." But it was too late. The bikes had already vanished through the gates. What happened next? No one can say for sure. Shouting, then silence. A silence so deep it made the wind hold its breath. Minutes later, the bikers rode back out. Their faces were calm, not angry, just done. Behind them, the factory yard was still. The men who had hurt Clara never laughed again. R.L. stopped beside Clara and Hazel. From his vest, he pulled out a brand new doll, soft, clean, its dress blue and bright like a piece of sky. He handed it to Hazel. "Keep that smile, sweetheart," he said quietly. Then he pulled out an envelope thick with cash and pressed it into Clara's trembling hand. When she tried to protest, he simply shook his head. "The world hit you once. Let us help you stand." With that, he and his brothers mounted their bikes again. As they rode away, the setting sun caught their chrome, turning it to gold. That day, the world saw something rare: power choosing kindness. The next morning, the factory stayed closed. The manager was gone. Rumors spread, but no one ever found out the full truth. Clara walked Hazel to school with her head high. Hazel skipped beside her, holding the new doll, but she never threw the broken one away. That night, she placed both on her bedside table. One arm missing, one brand new, side by side. Because even broken things deserve to be remembered. Sometimes, kindness comes from the unlikeliest hearts. Sometimes, the people the world fears are the ones who ride toward the storm. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Reality. And tell us in the comments, would you have done what the bikers did? Because real heroes don't wear capes. They wear leather. And when the world turns cruel, they choose to be kind anyway.